Hi Dovan, welcome back. Right, so we are now on lesson 9, comparing and ordering decimals. So it might be good to have a little recap of what we've already learnt about tenths, hundredths and writing decimals before you have a go at this lesson. Okay, so for our in focus task, I'm just going to move the textbook out of the way because you're going to need a few things. You're going to need a piece of paper. I'm going to use a whiteboard, a pen and a dice if you have one. So you might have a board game or something in your cupboard which will have a dice in it. If you don't have a dice in your house, maybe try and find a random digit generator on on Google or on an iPhone, iPad, etc. Okay, so you might want to pause the video whilst you just get those things together. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a game. Okay, this will help to remind you about tenths and hundredths as well. So what you're going to do, I'm going to demonstrate the game for you. You're going to roll a dice, and the digit that you roll, you're going to place into your tenths column. Okay, you might want to label the columns. So I've got my ones, I've got my decimal point, I've got my tenths, and I've got my hundredths. Okay, so the first digit goes in the tenths column. So I rolled a 5. I'm always going to keep my ones as a 0 at the moment. Okay, so I've rolled a 5, and then you're going to roll the dice again and put your second digit into your hundredths column. Okay, so you've made a number. Then you're going to find a family member in your house to have a go and make another number. If you haven't got anybody that's available to play with you, then it just means that you'll have to roll again like I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm going to fill in my ones and my decimal point. I've rolled a 4, so the first number goes in your tenths column, remember. And your second digit goes in your hundredths column. Okay, so what two numbers have I made? 0.52 and 0.45. So you've made 2 numbers. Then you need to compare the 2 numbers. Which one is smaller? How can we determine which decimal is more or less? What column do we need to use to look at which one is more or less? And can we use number discs to make these numbers and show which one is more and which one is less? Pause the video now, have a little think about how you would show both of these numbers using our number discs. Okay, so let's say we're going to make 0.45 with our number discs. This represents a tenth, 0.1 is a tenth. So for 0.45 we're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4 tenths. And how do we write a hundredth? We need 5 hundredths. So we've got 4 tenths discs and 5 hundredths discs. How many tenths discs would we need here for 0.52? We'd need 5 tenths discs and 2 hundredths discs. Okay, so if that helps you to draw out the number discs, then do feel free. So which number is bigger? We need to compare the tenths column first, as tenths have greater value than hundredths. Okay, so we look at the tenths column first, and which one has the bigger number in the tenths column? 0.52. We have a 5 in the tenths column here and a 4 in the tenths column here, which means this number is bigger. Okay, if we had a 4 in this column, we still look at the tenths column first, okay, to compare which one is bigger and smaller, but they've both got the same number. So that means they have the same amount of tenths. So that's when we'd look in our hundredths column and see which one has the most hundredths. So then this one would be bigger. okay? But we always look at our tenths column first. Right, I'm going to have one more go to show you, and then you're going to have a turn yourself. Okay, so write out your place value grid. Fill in your ones column is always going to be 0. Okay, and don't forget your decimal points. So your first rolled number goes in the tenths column, sorry, not the tens, the tenths. And your second digit goes in the hundredths. Okay, and then you're going to have a partner roll, or you're going to roll again. 4 in the tenths column, 1 in the hundredths column. So you should be able to look at this really quickly and tell me which one is the bigger number or which one is the smaller number. Which one is the bigger number? We look at our tenths column, see which one's got the biggest number, and it's a 4 in this column and a 2 in this number. So 0.41 is bigger because it has more tenths. Okay, so now you're going to pause the video and have a go at some of those yourself. Okay, right, now you've had a few turns at that, we should be very good at ordering decimals now. So I just want to show you these two symbols and see if you can tell me what they mean. Okay, so we think about it as our crocodile mouth, that might help you remember. And we say that the crocodile eats the bigger number. Okay, so the bigger number goes on the open mouth side and the smaller number goes behind the crocodile. Okay, so let's say I've got 0.41 and I've got 0.26. I would like you to pop a crocodile mouth in the middle and put the correct number on either side, please. Remember, the crocodile eats the bigger number. Okay, so we could have put 0.41 here and 0.26 here. And if the crocodile eats the bigger number, the crocodile would eat 0.41 because that has 4 tenths and this one has 2 tenths. Okay, so this one is bigger. However, you could have obviously put them the other way round, but then you'd have to change your crocodile mouth. Okay, so that says that 0.26 is smaller than 0.41. Okay, have another go with these two numbers. 0.75 and 0.64. So put a number on each side with a crocodile mouth in the middle. So we could have had 0.75 is greater than 0.64. Why? Because this one has 7 tenths and this one has 6 tenths. Or you could have put it the other way round. 0.64 is smaller than 0.75. Okay, so it's still eating that bigger number. I'd like you to roll some more numbers with your partner or by yourself and try and make some of these, please, with your crocodile mouth, your greater than and less than in the middle. Okay, pause the video whilst you do that. Okay, so now we're going to have a go at our guided practice. So it says, which number is smaller? So you can use number discs to help you, or counters, and it says write your answers using greater than or less than, so those crocodile mouths in between. So I want you to have a work through those 4 questions and then we'll come back together to see which is greater and which is smaller. Off you go. Right, so the first one we've got for question A, we have 0.1 or 0.6, which is smaller? 0.1 or 0.6, which is smaller? Well, this one has 1/10 and this one has 6/10. So 0.1 is smaller than 0.6. So which crocodile mouth do I use? Eats the bigger number. Okay. Question B, we've got 0.03 or 0.02. So we're looking in our tenths column and we've got 2 zeros. So that means we then go to our hundredths column. Which one's got the bigger number? 0.03. So our crocodile mouth eats the bigger number. C, we've got 0.12 or 0.21. Looking in our tenths column, which one has the biggest number? And our crocodile mouth eats the bigger number. So 0.21. D, we've got 0.31 or 0.34. Looking in our tenths column, we have the same number. Move to our hundredths, which one's got the bigger one? 0.34, they eat the bigger number. Okay, so the closed end of the crocodile mouth points to the smaller number. And the opened end of the crocodile mouth points to the bigger number, the greater number. So well done if you got those correct. Next guided practice, we've got a few more questions to do. Okay, so which number is greater? So they've got a number line here from 0 to 1 whole. It might help you. It's a different method to work out which number is greater. We've got 2 questions there. And then they'd also like you to use your greater than and less than symbols again. For number 3, you need to arrange the numbers in increasing order. So you need to write from smallest to greatest decimal. For question 4, it says arrange these numbers in decreasing order. So from greatest number to smallest. Okay, so they've switched that around there. So make sure you pay attention. So pause the video now whilst you give that a go. Okay, so for question 2, which number is greater? We've only got 2 questions here. So A, we've got 0.1 or 0.9. Which number is greater? Let's look in our tenths column. Which number's got the bigger number? 0.9, so we eat the bigger number. Okay. And B, we have 0.8 or 0.6. Looking in those tenths column, 0.8 has more tenths. Okay. You can also see that visually on your number line, which one is further along the number line, which means it's greater than, and which one is not so far along, which means it's less than. Number 3, so now we are arranging in increasing order, so smallest to greatest. We have 0.23, we have 0.12 and 0.21. So which one is the smallest? Let's look at the tenths column. We've got a 2, we've got a 1, we've got a 2. So which one is the smallest? 0.12, because it's the only one that's got 1/10. The next smallest we've got out of these 2 here, let's rub this one out, 0.23 and 0.21. They've got the same amount of tenths, so we look to the hundredths column. Which one's got the least in the hundredths column? 0.21. So that means the greatest is 0.23. So remember that's increasing in size, so well done if you got that correct. Now we're arranging in decreasing order, so we're going from greatest to smallest. We've got 0.2, 0.3, 0.23 and 0.32. So we're looking for the biggest first, the greatest. So let's look at the tenths column. We've got 2, 3, 2, 3. So we know it's not going to be the ones with the 2 in the tenths column, so it means it's out of these 2. 0.3 or 0.32. This one hasn't got anything in the hundredths column, which means actually there's a secret 0, okay, that we don't have to put in. So which one's the biggest now? Which one's got the most in the hundredths column? It's 0.32, which is the greatest. Then we know that 0.30 or 0.3 is the next greatest. Now it's out of these two, 0.20 or 0.23. Which one's got the most in the hundredths column? It's 0.23 and then 0.2. So that one was a little bit trickier because a couple of them didn't have anything in the hundredths column, but hopefully you remembered that that means that there's a 0 there. Okay, so well done if you got those correct. Now it's your turn to have a go at the worksheet attached on the Google Classroom. It's worksheet 9, pages 17 and 18. Okay, so remember, use whichever method you think helps. If you want to use some number discs, if you want to use a number line, whichever you prefer. But I would encourage putting your numbers into place value grids if you need to. And remember to use your greater than and less than symbols too. Okay, any questions, post on your stream. Good luck, everybody.